Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We finished the week with excitement today, not only a chance for us to win a trophy against a minnow who have reached the cup final, we also face a strong Barry Town United side away, but that is not even half the story. We've got to talk about Barry and TNS in Europe. We've got to talk about transfer windows as well, because we're starting to see some signs of investment across the board, and we finally sold a player permanently to a team in our division. There's a lot to come on that front and there are positive signs. If you want to see them, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content. A reminder, tomorrow we'll be starting our brand new mini weekend series that will run all the way through September. There's links in the eye above to the Twitch channel for regular live streams as well, so please do come and follow us over there. But this is all about the Welsh transfer window. We've got a youth intake preview, we've had brilliant form, we've got a cup final, but it's all overshadowed because what is happening off the pitch is finally starting to show me that there might be progress to an acceptable level before the end of this save. Let's get our stuff out the way though quickly. The schedule for Bangor City, and we've had 8 games since you were last with me, and we almost did brilliantly in the Champions League again. As it is though, we won 5-0 against Cardiff Met Uni. A red card helped us because it was only 2-0 at the time, but goals for Strom, Bektas, Waters, Bulkley and Loza made it comfortable. A 2-1 defeat at Chelsea, a late goal again. Lloyd Goulding thought he'd nicked us a point, but just wasn't to be. Chelsea nicked a tap in late on and it was a 2-1 defeat on the road in Europe. We bounced back though, 3-0 victory against Newtown, another red card helping us out at 1-0. Bulkley scored the resulting free kick to make it 2. Mubarak Whelan had a run in the side due to injury, he got us the first goal, then Kresimir Loza off the bench late on. A 5-0 win against Kefan Druids, Kean Bulkley amongst the goals off the bench again, after a Bektas brace, Waters and Goulding had got us the goals. A 2-0 win at Barla just after Christmas, Nenov and Loza with the goals there. A 5-1 win in a reverse fixture at home. Our former youth player Sam Martin had scored right in the first minute against us, but a brace from Goulding and then Bektas, Davis and Jones had made sure we got a comfortable victory. And then the same result in a League Cup semi-final. A Broadbent hat-trick away at Newtown, followed by goals by Davis and Kresimir Loza, made sure of a comfortable passage to the final, where we will face Haverfordwest, which I think is going to be a pretty interesting game. So we'll talk about those 2 matches in a minute and get through them, of course. But let's have a look at the transfer window, because the biggest news for Welsh football probably comes on our screen of outs. We haven't signed anybody yet, but look at the 3 that have left. Leo Blake, one of the better younger players we've produced in recent years, has gone to Barry Town United for £11,000. Once they put a non-negotiable offer in, I just accepted it. It's got a small sell-on fee, but that's not the point here. Leo Blake is a very good footballer. He might not ever be good enough for us. He had 3-star potential and he was at 1.5-star ability, just creeping towards 2. But by the rest of the league standards, is exceptional. He's made appearances for us this season. He scored a goal in the League Cup. I remember that one, a good finish. And he's also there on £700 a week as an important player. He's a Welsh under-19 international and he is going to improve Barry Town United no end. That's a transfer that really excited me. The fact they've come and approached us for a good youth player as well, who had made loads of first team appearances, is a positive sign. Alan Hogan, one of the other ones in that bracket, has gone on loan to TNS. He'll do a job in the squad there. They didn't promise to start him. There was another club further down, I think it was Colwyn Bay that did that. But Hogan has chosen TNS and to play a squad role there. So really good to see that more clubs are coming in for our younger players, particularly domestically as well. But that's not the only excitement in terms of the Welsh transfer window. If I go and show you very quickly, there have been big investments from TNS this winter. Now I know that he's not the best player in the world, and some of the other players they're linked with are sublime, by the way, but Deshaun Swabby has come in from Yeovil. He's only 20 years of age, he's a good fullback, and he's come in for a big transfer fee. Played nearly 100 games at 20, a former Liverpool youth player, 235,000. They're investing all right, and if they can get quality players in even to improve their squad, we're going to start to see a very different TNS, because their backup side has struggled in the league at times. If we look at the rest of the window, of course, we also sold Yesden Weaver. It was an automatic agreement after he made X number of appearances in his loan deal. He goes to Dundalk for just under £1 million after being a brilliant servant for us. We wish him all the best for the future there. But a few other big signings coming in as well, a few domestic ones and a few free agents coming to other clubs. and Barry Town United are the ones I'm looking at now. Are they going to follow up that Leo Blake transfer with big investment? We'll wait and see. Because TNS and Barry Town United are in the Europa Conference last 32. TNS won their final group game against the Romanians we beat in qualifying. They ended on 7 points. Barry Town United lost, but so did Legia Warsaw, which meant that as a result they both got through in third place. So in terms of the knockout rounds, ironically after that, Barry Town United have got the more winnable game. They face Shamrock Rovers from the Republic of Ireland. A winnable game, even if not an easy one. TNS will be facing Lorient, another one of those weaker French sides. A league that's got so much weaker this year. It's ironic because we're facing a side from that division too. But I think TNS have got a chance there. In terms of our draw, we will be facing AS Monaco. It will be part of the next episode with St Johnstone. They're good. They are not like the Bordeaux. They're not like the Lorients. They're not like the Stade de Reims. They are top class. They've got brilliant young players. They've got phenomenal centre-halves. They've got players with weaknesses though. So they're slightly better than us, but not enough to have me too worried. I still think we've got a chance of sneaking through. But of course, as you can see, lots of things to be excited about. We've got a youth intake preview too. We'll have a look at that between the two games. But let's crack on with Barry Town United in the Welsh Premier League. We're going to go as strong as possible. We rested everyone in midweek. We're getting warnings to close down Leo Blake. That's absolutely excellent. Let's have a play with the lineup the assistants picked. And we'll be back in a moment to run through the 11. Okay, Kresimir Loza struggling for fitness, so we've swapped him on the bench for Broadbent. I'm going through a bit of a policy at the moment. With the improvement of Jennings and Whelan, I'm trying to get Kelly as much football as possible now he's returned from injury, because I want someone to be interested and put in a bid, and I've decided I'm going to accept it if it's good enough. He's got a year and a half left on his contract. He's 30 years of age. It's worth £6 million. I think if we can get 5 or 6 million, we probably have to take that at this point. And then the likes of Jennings and Whelan can become first choice. Interestingly, Jennings wanted by some big clubs. Raith Rovers tried to get him on loan, but only as a squad player. If someone could get him on loan and play him, it could be a revelation for him. But for the rest of the team, it basically picks itself. We're playing a weaker opposition domestically, so Tom Jones the number 10 with Bulkley in centre midfield. Walters back from injury up front is a very strong side. Zemankas starts between the sticks. He signed a new 5-year deal. Agosta signed a 4-year one, the keeper. The fullbacks are Bektas and McDonald. McDonald and Reyes both signed loan extensions. Whittaker and Kelly in at centre half. Lloyd, Reyes, Bulkley and Jones the midfield diamond. Gordon and Walters up front. They've already got 40 goals between them. How can they add to that today? Barry Town United showing off their new signing. It'll be good to come up against Leo Blake. We just need more players like that to go permanently. Well, it's quite good to see actually where they have got that strength in depth now. That Leo Blake's playing alongside the likes of Harry Gray and Sean Walters. Bridgman scoring goals galore for them up front. And Barry Town United, they're a few points behind because their squad wasn't strong enough to cope with Europe too. But they are still in that hunt for second with TNS. And TNS we know have been constant letdowns in this series. Even last year, after 2 years of European football and that money that comes with it, they couldn't get themselves into second place. But they're really investing now. I think we're going to see a big 3 moving forward. As Reyes goes down the right hand side to Gordon. 8 minutes on the clock. Walters is in the middle if he can find him. Gets to the byline, delivers to him. And guess who's there? It's Blake back to try and intercept in his own area. Ahmet Bektas throws in from the left again. Bulkley brings it down. The cross is deflected. Bektas back to Reyes though. Into Walters. Down for Tom Jones. Falls for him again. It's bobbling all over the place. And Dave Anderson hacks it clear. Lloyd gets it wide to Bulkley though. Finds Ahmet Bektas. Plays a nice 1-2. Just trying to pick the right opportunity here. Not forcing the issue. As Bulkley again into Gordon. Deflects to Jones. And now Kane Walters. Oh, poor goalkeeping. He got there, but it just sort of bobbled. It bounced in front and went over him. And Kane Walters gets the most fortuitous of goals. It's 1-0 Bangor City. And Lafayette between the sticks there didn't cover himself in glory. I should say on reflection with 9 minutes to the break, Lafayette's their backup keeper. And aside from that, we've not really had a threat. As Tom Jones comes over halfway again. He's got Walters in support. I think he was just offside there. He's chipped it in. Oh, the goal's given. It looked off to me. But Tom Jones with the assist. Kane Walters with a goal. 20 for the season now for him. And a comfortable lead for Bangor City. Not been a vintage display, but we're going to lead 2-0 with 5 minutes to the break. As McDonald throws into Gordon again. Can we get even more now? Walters in for the hat-trick. Tipped onto the post. The rebound goes wide. That was a good bit of goalkeeping. But a comfortable lead, a comfortable performance. And now what we need from this game is Barry and TNS to see we need investment. We need to improve. And hopefully they'll do just that. As we've got a throw on the left again with Ahmet Bektas in towards Walters. Brings it down left side of the box on a hat-trick, of course. Bektas delivers, but Edwards heads away. Lloyd will get it back out to him, though. I've got to say, I don't know if it was just because the transfer window was coming up. Bektas has been in the form of his life the last 6 weeks. And he gives it into Harvey Lloyd again. Bulkley back out wide to him. Bektas to the byline. Cuts it to Tom Jones. Already got 1 assist, but he's robbed of possession there. And it's cleared to Harvey Lloyd. But we are camped in the final third. They cannot get out Barry Town. And here it is with Bektas for a third time. Finds Harvey Lloyd. Inside to Jones. To Bulkley. The two youngsters combining. I say youngsters. Jones is about 25 now. The former youth intake stars, I should call them. McDonald in from the right. Walters over the bar. We're performing really well, and hopefully in a minute the youngsters can come on. 65 minutes on the clock here. Let's go and make those changes. We'll be back in a second. Okay, so 3 new players coming on. Whelan, Nenov and Jennings, the youngsters. Off go Bulkley for a rest. McDonald, not played that well. And Jerome Kelly as he builds his way back up to fitness. Should be an interesting last 25 here. Hopefully the young stars can really start to assert their dominance in these games. As Needham gets it on the left for Barry Town. Coming over halfway here, but it's a 2-on-6, and eventually Reyes pins him to the corner and wins him back. Whittaker gets it out to Mubarak Whelan. Had a run in the side while we had the injury to Kelly, because at the same time Jennings was out too. As Walters picks it up from a deeper position. Runs in behind, Blake intercepts again, but it falls for Tom Jones. Right side of the box, cuts it back to Reyes. That is a fabulous strike. 20 yards out, rifles it into the far bottom corner. And Bangor City looking irresistible. Barry Town United improved, but they need more in the transfer window. Fingers crossed, they'll go and get it. As on the right-hand side, we got a throw with Nenov. Still nearly 20 minutes remaining here. We could really make this a heavy victory. As Reyes gets it right side of the box to Jennings. Just wide from the centre half. Playing as a makeshift midfielder here. Nearly scores an absolute rocket. 15 minutes remaining. As we've got a throw for Barry Town United on the right into the final 10 minutes. The throw sells Blake short and it's brought away. Walters down the left-hand side, finds Goulding. Left side of the box, he's had a really poor game stay up there. Gives it back to Bektas, holds up well. Can he get the crossing? Back to Jennings. Had a bit of an impact from midfield since he's come on. Finds Harvey Lloyd. Thunders the woodwork from 30 yards. It was a cracking effort. But unfortunately not to be. It remains 3-0. You could argue on the second half we probably deserved more. The 3 minutes of stoppage time are up though. It remains 3-0 on the night. We're going to say well done to the boys. We'll keep an eye on the transfer window for the next week. We'll be back in a moment for our cup final against surprise opponents in Haverfordwest to have a look at that youth intake preview. Hopefully, be half as good as last year's. Well, it's cup final time. It's the middle of the transfer window. And we're starting to see a little bit of action. And I'm not actually that devastated about how it's happening. Yes, TNS aren't signing as big as they could be. But they're now paying teams like the Netley for their youngsters. And taking a punt on them and giving them a professional environment to develop. So I'm actually not too worried about that moving forward. I think it could turn into a positive. They're also loaning a lot of players out to other Welsh sides, a bit like we have in the past. That can only be a good thing for the lower leagues. But we are seeing a few little transfers between other clubs. Not a huge amount yet, but we're seeing a few little encouraging signs and hopefully that can continue towards the end of the window. For us though, we said we'd look at our youth intake preview. Let's go and find it and see if it's changed since we last looked. So, off to the youth candidates screen. There's no mention to say it's a really poor or a really good youth intake. The one thing we've definitely got is a lot of good fullbacks. Unfortunately though, it says we have one good young Welsh right back as the best one. Or I'm kind of hoping one of the stars will be a left back. But let's be honest, at this point, it's not about us producing superstars for ourselves. It's about getting players through like Leo Blake, 4 or 5 a year, that we can give to TNS, to Barry, to Colwyn Bay, to all of those top half sides and give them a chance to improve players. Because most of these clubs are professional now and can help them out. Apparently there's wide midfielders aplenty. I don't know why, because we don't ever use them, unless it's the fullbacks who can also play higher up. The worries though, no good wing-backs, no good defensive midfielders, and no good strikers. But then Kean Bulkley was our one for last year. So a mixed bag. We'll see which sort of team we get through and whether they're top stars who could help us or ones that will be able to help the nation. For now though, let's go and get into our final against Haverfordwest. Not the game we expected. They're 11th in the Welsh Premier League at the moment. They've not had the best of starts. but let's see how they get on in the big game. And to be honest, given the way we performed in the last game and the light match load with just a game a week at the moment, we've got lower league opposition in the cup next week. I don't see any reason to change the side. We're going to put exactly the same 11 out. I've brought Davis and Loza back onto the bench. It's only 5 substitutes as well. So Broadbent, Jennings, Bamford and McWilliams are the 4 to miss out that were there last week. It's a very good 11. We saw what it can do last time out. Let's see if we get the same again. This should be a pretty comfortable victory. I don't really recognise any of the players in that Haverfordwest team. Sorotto's someone they paid for in the past, I think, and Lee Lloyd is the man that joined them last week. Their best player, on paper, is Ollie Edwards, and he's on the bench. That I don't quite understand. He is a number 10, so maybe they're going for a more workmanlike team, but if you're Haverfordwest, surely you can't leave your best player out of this game. And it's very ballsy to play a 4-4-2. Surely one of the strikers is worse. They could have dropped them and played a number 10. We'll wait and see. But 10 minutes gone. It's been a quiet game so far. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and shut up by the manager. As the ball goes out to the right, McDonald intercepts for Gordon. It's a wider pitch here where this is being played. I'm not sure where it is. Maybe it's Newport or that other weird ground that we had last time from the same area. As Reyes picks it up, goes down and takes on a man down the left-hand side. It falls for Bektas from the sliding challenge. Cuts it back to Reyes again. He's got the chance to cross. It's into Tom Jones. And a former youth intake star gives us the lead. He turns up in the big games, the kid. You've got to give him credit. Tom Jones, the number 10, makes it 1-0 to Bangor City. And we've got a free kick again with a quarter of the game gone. Jerome Kelly on halfway plays a 1-2 with his centre-half partner. Works his way back to Simancas. Probably not the start we needed to see there, as it's chipped up to Tom Jones, who gives it away. Jordan goes wide to Lee Lloyd, the new signing. Into Dormer. And wide to Blackburn, the fullback. I think he's the skipper as well. Tries to switch the play. That's going to go wrong. Looked bad from the moment he left his boot. Gordon intercepts it and charges down the right. Throw in the middle if he can get the cross in. Does just that. And look who's there. It's Tom Jones again. 2 for Jones, 2 for Bangor City. And we're going to win the League Cup again. Looking a very comfortable start to the season. And a very comfortable first trophy in the bag. As McDonald's got to throw it right back to Whittaker. Chance to play back to him, which he does. He can bring it long over halfway, but instead plays into Gordon's feet. His pass is intercepted, and Hodgson gets it away to Lloyd, who has looked pretty good so far on this right wing. But every time he's given it back to the fullback, he's given it away. This time Jordan keeps possession, chips it through towards Hughes, but Whittaker intercepts. We're playing nicely out from the back. We look really comfortable, really composed in possession. And to be honest, Haverfordwest, they keep in possession all right in their own half. But they're not having a kick in the final third as Reyes reduces a brilliant through ball. Walters gets in to score. It is a lovely switch of tempo. Short football in and around the back. And then Reyes, big through ball. Walters there to slide it in the far corner. And it's 3-0 and probably game over. As we've got a free kick again with Kyle Bulkley. 30 yards out. Sorotto with a save. Twice in fact. And it's ruled out for offside. Would it have been Gordon who was off or Walters? It was Gordon from the rebound. Great save from Sorotto though. He's certainly had a decent night tonight. 5 minutes to the break though. It's a free kick at left back for Haverfordwest. And Bird plays it back to his keeper who goes long. Dormer flicks on but only as far as McDonald. Whittaker plays a 1-2 with him. And eventually it's back to Simancas. He can play out from the back to Whittaker. Out wide to McDonald and into Reyes. 2 over halfway but he's going with the ball himself. Slide tackle falls for Bulkley. He's got the fullback in support, but plays short to Reyes. Walters has got a man running off him. Instead goes wide to Bektas, marauding down the left-hand side as always. He plays a 1-2 with Bulkley. Into Gordon, down for Jones. And it is a cup final hat-trick for Tom Jones. He's still doing the business. He's still a superstar. He's not quite as good as some of the others, but he's very much good enough for us. 4-0 it's going to be at half-time. Been a brilliant first half performance. Let's hope we can keep it up in a second. I think it's safe to say we're going to lift the trophy though. And we are back just a minute and a half into the second period as Tom Jones has won a free kick 30 yards out. Bulkley will take it on the angle. Perfect shooting range. And he puts it right into the top corner. Sorotto gets a little hand to it. Not enough to stop it. 5-0. It's getting a bit embarrassing now. We might have to bring some of the youngsters on. Maybe just rest a few later in this game. Towards the hour mark, Kai McDonald with a throw on the right. Gives it away to Dormer. We said it was ballsy playing a 4-4-2 and it's not worked out for them at all here. McDonald recycles it again on halfway. Plays a 1-2 with Whittaker. Into Ruben Reyes, who's just been phenomenal on the ball. Walters, Jones, Goulding, great interchange of passing. Jones picks it up again to Walters. Back to Jones again. He's got 4. He's had the game of his life here today. 4 cup final goals for Tom Jones. And in a moment, we'll go and look at resting people, because this has just been too good. 25 minutes to go. Tom Jones has got the perfect 10. Do we take him off or do we rest Reyes? I'm going to rest Reyes insteed. Gethin Davis will come on for him. I think he's the younger of the two. Strom's 21. Davis is 20. So yeah, we're going to stick with Davis for now, albeit there's not a huge amount in it. We're going to take off Bektas for Nenov at left back. We're going to bring on Whelan for Harvey Lloyd in a holding role. And we're going to relax and enjoy the last 25 minutes with our 6-0 lead against Haverfordwest. It's the downside of a minnow reaching the final. As we've got 12 minutes to go, Kyo Bulkley delivers a free kick from the left. It's just too easy. Kane Walters, the goal-scoring extraordinaire striker, is left completely unmarked at the back post. He gets his second of the game to make it 7-0. And now we've got our second player on a hat-trick for this one. I don't know if he's going to have time to complete it though as we head into stoppage time. But this has been an utterly dominant performance. We're going to win the League Cup. There's no surprise there. Perhaps a surprise the final opposition we faced, but still a very easy win. A 7-0 victory for Bangor City, and we can't wait for Barrytown United and TNS to improve so they can start challenging us in this one. They're making progress in Europe though, we've got to be pleased with that. But this caps off the perfect episode. Bangor City lift the League Cup, and hopefully this year, with us still in the SPFL Trust Trophy, it'll be able to get closer to being a quadruple again. Let's go and have a look to see when we're next going to be back. But I don't think you'll get any prizes for guessing. Interesting side note on prize money. 110 grand for winning it. The first time I think it's been over 100. And our broadcast revenue for the league went over 200 this year as well. So real signs of progress there. If we go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back, it's not going to be long in the future at all. St Johnstone for the SPFL Trust Trophy semi-final on the 15th of February. Followed by the first leg at home against Monaco just 4 days later. Between now and then, we'll have the end of the Welsh transfer window and 3 big games domestically. So if you're looking forward to finding out what goes on next time and you did enjoy the episode, please chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content. This series will be back on Monday, but in the meantime, we've got a new series starting tomorrow and that will run every weekend throughout September. So please turn that notification bell on to get alerts when it releases. There's links to the other playlists and to the Twitch channel for regular live streams in the eye above. And a massive thank you for watching, your support as always with the series. And I'll see you next time as Europe returns. It's one of our toughest tests yet at this stage.